We're talking about intimacy is what we were talking about.
Yeah, we are. But I said women.
And that's what we always get out, because the women think that men is not about intimacy, that we don't like to see a little note to say hi, a little note in your briefcase to say have a good day,
good point.
A little text, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Listen here, date me.
You're right.
Date me. Don't make me feel like a piece of meat. Did I just come in here and slang, are you ready, daddy? I get that 100%. However, I don't think women look at that in that regards of getting up and saying that and start preparing mentally for what's going to go later. Because even in marriages, so many times that you can go out to eat, you can go do different things, preparing for this later event. You've put in the work, you've done these other things. You've held hands, you've opened the door, you've done all of those things. You've looked across the table and Google-eyed and gave a wink and all those things. And yet, still, when you get home, and now for that end product to kind of go to kind of finalize the night, then it's that's all you think about. Now you want to do this. Why don't you just hold me? When I have been preparing all evening to do just those things, but you were meant to be preparing for the end result. And I don't think that is something that women take in consideration of the fact that to close out this may be the closing, or it could be the beginning, but that's part of it, and it's just interesting. Like I said, I'm sure that you guys talk about a lot more things other than just the physical thing kind of going from there, but it's just making that connection from you waking up, you feeling this way, you feeling good about yourself, because so many times, I used to tell my wife, I'd say, boy, you should look good in that, and then she would go to something, but my hair don't look good. Oh, boy, you smile good. Yeah, but I didn't get my teeth white. I mean, there's always a counter to this, and it's just hard for women to accept compliments and without it being something, attached to it, thinking that you want something from that standpoint. So anyway, I know I digress. I kind of got off on some other tangents, but it was just interesting to hear you talk about the intimacy part and mentally preparing for that. And I don't necessarily know that they actually prepare for the conclusion, other than the parade, so to speak.
And I'm glad you said that, because when it comes to the finalization, as you were saying, I think a lot of that comes from a lack of communication between the two. So we oftentimes will meet and we'll talk, and we'll use words, but we think that person knows what we mean when we say this or when we say that. We don't realize that instead of just using the word to describe an act, use a description. So, I'm a teacher. I'm an actual teacher.
Can I just pause right there? Okay, I grew up in the church as well. Okay. When the doors was open, I was there. I was there when they used to have BTU. And people remember. You see what I'm talking about? I'm hardcore.
Yeah, you were there.
But I think the communication part that you're talking about, and saying the words, because black women, and because how the church, because they looked at all those things as being negative and kind of going, and even though you may be an adult now, 40, 50 years old, you still feel these words, or still feel like ashamed, or that's bad to say these things. And it's really hard to have that real conversation and using the real words to talk about those things, because then it seems that it's turning vulgar. You looked at it as, dirty almost.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing worse. Yes. I'm going to tell you, as a man, there's nothing worse to be looked at and felt and thought of as dirty, as all I want is this. Listen, I have respect for myself. So you treat me like that. And so the church from that, that's residual effects. To have those communications, to talk, Because I think that was one of the things that me and my wife had for very good conversation. She's my best friend, truly. And we had some very good conversations, but in spite of, we could talk about everything. Money, kids, everything. Even be on opposite sides of the fence on some things, just still we agree to disagree. But you know what? When it started talking about sex and different things from that was always a problem, because it just, like I say, you say tomato, I say tomato. You know what I'm saying? And what this actually means, what this word, and what does this mean to you?
Right.
So I guess it's kind of one of those things you got to almost go down and say, okay, if I say this, what does that word mean to you?
Yes, exactly.
And I think,
do exactly that.
And I think also what comes to mind too, who was the queen that was preparing for her husband for about a year in the Bible? Who was that?
Yeah, that was Esther. That was Esther.
Remember? Yeah.
So I think a couple of things. Number one, it's biblical that women did prepare our minds, our bodies, our souls for our husband, for our significant other. However, somewhere in the mix, women were taught that sex was taboo for us.
Right.
Like, it's a dirty word.
Right.
We were taught that we can't explore our bodies. Men could, but good girls don't.
Right.
And somewhere between the Bible and society, that message got mixed
lost in
up.
translation.
And that's where men went to go find the good girls to be wives and to play with the other girls. Right. And why you have so many divorces, because you know what? Because guess what? That good girl really wasn't good enough for you to be other aspects of you. Because I had to, my own self, I had to change with the pool that I was fishing from, because I looked at my own desires, and this pool, this purchase is not what I like. I like to big mouth bass over in this pond here. No, really, but that's coming from self-awareness. But that's right, Lorraine, that's what we grew up looking at. The good girls, that's the ones you want to marry. And the one, if they did anything, if they kissed, was touched or anything, then no, you can play around with them, but you can't make them, you can't marry.
Right.
But that's what's crazy, because growing up, I know being married as a young wife, I really didn't know how to please my husband growing up, because first thing my mother always said, you don't sleep around, don't no man want a woman that's been, sleeping around. First, Apostle Paul says better to marry than to burn. So they used that scripture many, many years. Okay, I get it. But the thing about it is, if the church don't teach you somebody like, about sex and it, how do we learn? Yeah. So I know when I got married, again, you don't know how to please a man because you don't know what to do. Who tells you like toys? In my head still today, I feel that toys, I'm just not comfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just not comfortable. That's one. But then if you have a husband, like my husband grew up Catholic, right? So to me, they do everything, right? They do it all. I'm sorry.
And the Baptists.
But you're right. Y'all might go drinking today, and y'all be at church first thing in the morning.
You better believe
Baptist,
it.
Catholic, whatever. But me growing up Catholic, Kojic, Church of God in Christ, it was very difficult. But I was ashamed because I did want to please my husband, okay? But I also felt that I opened the door for my husband to go outside because I couldn't please him. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yes. And you know what? And you put a person in such a tough position to say that if I am only supposed to eat at this restaurant and you're not going to feed me, and I tell you what I like, and you have the ability to fix exactly what I like, but you refuse. I have a headache today. My arm hurts. I work late. Whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. Now, there is no way that we're supposed to go outside of our marriage. Wrong is wrong. But what type of position do you, what type of position do you do? And then you say, you better not go do anything. Really?
Right.
Well, and it sounds like those are a little bit two different things, because what she was saying is, I want to please you, I'm just not sure exactly how, because I have not been taught. But you're saying, I know how to please you, but I'm just not.
No, not necessarily that to know.
Okay.
I'm telling you, if I say I like spare ribs, and you know how to make spare ribs, then I'm just saying, can I have spare ribs today?
She's saying she doesn't know how to make spare ribs.
I know, but here's the thing though. And with that being said, but it still puts a man in a tough position. Whether you know or don't know, it puts that back. That's all I was saying. I was giving the other side of that of putting it in a tough spot.
But when a woman doesn't know, it is her responsibility to try to figure out how to cook those spare ribs. Okay, my husband said he likes spare ribs. Right. There is a website, allrecipes.com. Let me go to this website and try to figure out how to cook.
You're talking to such a slight percentage of people who's going to take the initiative to do that. But it seems so simple. But
here's the thing. Just think back when we were growing up. I know my household, I was a church kid as well. I'm a church girl. I'm a good girl.
Oh, Jesus.
My parents did not talk about sex. You know what I'm saying? We weren't taught that at home. I saw it. I don't think I would see my dad kiss my mom on the way out the door to work, but as far as, anything else, we really didn't learn it at home. And, many, many years ago back in slavery, we were raped, so that's a whole nother, aspect of it too, where, we probably do kind of look at sex as being vulgar, as being nasty, as being hurtful. So how do we get to the point of where we're cooking spare ribs?
Well,
how do we?
It goes back to what she said on the intimacy part. It starts with you, and you have to be okay with you and get yourself together. So, and from that standpoint, because if you're not feeling good about yourself, there's nothing I can do.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
I can do.
You're absolutely right.
I can sing your praises till the cows come home.
But if you don't believe it,
if you don't believe it and you don't feel good, then I'm just.
But then that becomes a personal thing because women have been beat up so long.
You don't think men have?
I'm not saying that you haven't, but we're talking about women right here, Tony.
But we're talking about intimacy is what we were talking about.
Yeah, we are.
But I said women.
And that's what we always get out, because the women think that men is not about intimacy, that we don't like to see a little note to say hi, a little note in your briefcase to say have a good day.
Good point.
A little text, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Listen here, date me.
You're right.
Date me. Don't make me feel like a piece of meat. Did I just come in here and slang it? You ready, daddy?
Unless you want to feel like a piece of meat. And then
unless I want. Now, unless I want to. But you know what they say? Listen here. Look here. I don't mind being used. Until you use me up, I don't mind.
Keep it real. That's all right.
I don't mind.
But then, let me ask Andee, because I'm sure that there are some men who don't know how to please their women.
That's true. And they think that what they're doing is good. Awesome. Yeah. So, and you looking like.
It's the foreplay. Come on, Andee.
Right.
But Andee, this is what I want. Like these toys, like me, I want to go home tonight, right? And I want to be different. So that's why I came tonight to be on the show. I was going to take a little time off, but I said, I'm married, so I have rights to do whatever I want to mine, right?
Because the bedroom is what? What's the Bible say about the bedroom?
Baby, that's our sacred place. Ain't nobody had no business. Check this out. I want you to break this down because I'm trying to figure out what's pure romance, body boost. I need it all. So I'm going to sit here. We're going to open the door. You got to help us tonight.